Okay, so what I've done over the last week is I've had a look at different ways of getting geographical information system stuff into Blender and how I could then manipulate it. So as you can see from the file sizes, you can see there's varying levels of graphical data baked into this sort of stuff. Alright, so this one is the drawn from the BlenderGIS project. It gives me satellite imagery from OpenStreetMaps. It gives me topological information of height elevations that I can bake into this surface or image plane, and then I can drop in buildings on the top, and that's all the buildings imported as one lot. And then the top of those buildings, I've just basically put this image texture on top of the buildings as a set. Then, of course, that's the satellite information. We've got other information. So we've got the highways, railways, waterways, a lot of additional information. The land use, these ones, land use, leisure, and natural, I've found less useful for what I want to do, but that's, your mileage may vary. So this is my first crack at using the BlenderGIS project, but I'm really just looking at is it viable for what I want to do? The second crack I had at BlenderGIS was basically bringing in the buildings separately. So in the first version, if I just go to here, each of these buildings is part of a vertex group. So if I select the whole thing, I can then go into edit mode, and then under the vertex texture, I can select a particular building. So let's find something, Bendigo Bank, that's a big thing in the middle of town. So here we've got some Bendigo Bank stuff, and then that's actually should be the big one, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. Because they've actually got a fairly large building in the middle of town, which is what I was expecting to pop up. But anyhow, so that's one take on it. The second one, which it'd take me a long time to re-texture all these buildings, but I could, do a far superior service to it because I can always get more detailed textures. And each building is individually named. So if I go into the center of town here, and hopefully I'll find something that it will know. Town hall, great. An arcade. Bendigo Bank, etc., etc. So this allows for more opportunity for a more dynamic city that you can then edit together and that sort of stuff as you see fit. All right, from this one, you'll see instantly it's got a higher resolution, but I'll talk about the process that goes through because it is a little bit of a kludge around, let's say. So initially you grab Model Map Maker. So let's just have a look at the preferences on this one. MapsModelsImporter is the one I used, and it's 0.6. So it's still, I assume, in alpha or beta stages. That combined with another program called RenderDoc to go into Google Maps, get that image information of this at a high resolution, as you can see here. It takes a little bit of time, but it can be worth doing. And you can see that it actually gives, from this perspective, not too bad a resolution, but once you get in closer, you can see the jankiness of the actual shapes. And we select one, you'll notice that everything is tiled into squares. So everything is a square, and so in terms of model manipulation, it makes it a little more difficult to actually work with. But you do get good resolutions. But there's actually probably a better technique involving getting a Google Map key, which at this moment is free, and then importing the data directly from Google. All right. The third technique I researched was basically using Google Maps and API key and importing pretty much directly into from Google into this using the Blosm add-on, or at least that's what I remember it to be. And as you can see instantly, you get a nice high resolution in terms of image textures. Sadly, everything doesn't lack that GIS information. So here I've just got a single mesh. I can't select and edit bits of it. If I go into edit mode, you'll see all the vertex points pop up in probably a few seconds because it's a massive file at almost a whole gigabyte worth of data just for this small chunk of Bendigo. So I can see the benefit of it for the level of detail of the imagery, but the fact that it's all one mesh kind of works against what I would like to do and have a city that I can maneuver things through and add detail where I need detail and that sort of stuff. So while I think of benefit for flyovers and that sort of stuff, it's not a huge benefit for what I want to do. So one thing I discovered a little while back was this idea of digital twins, which is combining the geospatial data with city-based information to give a high resolution look at a location. So the first one I found happened to be Boston, and you can zoom right in, you can get an idea of a huge amount of detail, train stations and all this sort of other stuff around the city. Depends on what they've attached to it, but ArcGIS is I suppose the application used to create these things, and a lot of these data sets are publicly available. So we have Zurich here. Get rid of that. So here you can see a layout of Zurich. I haven't been to either city, but I thought, well, okay, these are really interesting. I wonder if we've got one locally. And Digital Twin Victoria, which is the state I live in Australia, has this kind of stuff, and you can see it's still busily trying to load. But from what I've seen, it has reasonably good quality imagery around this sort of stuff, depending on what I'm looking for. So hopefully I can build an animation-friendly environment to manipulate. And that's about it for my look at GIS and that sort of stuff. So enjoy your day.